The first thing I'd like to challenge Harris County to do is to put some cameras in those elevators first. We need to talk about what happened to Mr. Terry in a little bit more detail. Today we had to file a section 1983 Civil Rights Act case against them for the following. 1, cruel and unusual punishment. Count 2, deliberate or indifferent policies. And that is going to be on Mr. Gonzalez as well as, unfortunately, Mr. Ismael Portesa. 3, failure to supervise as to Ed Gonzalez and Ismael Portesa. 4, failure to train as to Ed Gonzalez. 5, failure to assess as to Ed Gonzalez and Officer John Doe. 6, conditions of confinement as to all defendants. And number 7, IIED as to all defendants. The issues that were visibly seen, that everybody saw with respect to my client, was that he was foaming at the mouth. He was in and out of consciousness. He laid on the floor. From the time he got there until the time he left, he vomited over and over and over again. And by the time that he perished, there was blood coming from his anus. Visibly ill. And you know what jailers did? Laughed at him, taunted him, told him nothing was wrong with him, cursed him out, told him to move along through processing, move along through pretrial. Inmates are standing there begging for them to help him. They laughed. They cursed him out and they told him, we're going to pick you up. And MF'er, you better get to moving. They picked him up. He dropped. They laughed. They left him there. He lost consciousness. They left him there vomiting and in his own vomit for over an hour. These are the jailers refusing any sort of medical treatment. At some point, after an hour or so, he comes to. And let me say, this is the first time he collapsed, because he collapsed more than once. Okay? He comes to. He's begging for his meds. He's specifically begging, from what I've been told, for mental health meds and diabetes meds. And this is not the first time that I've heard of this. It's been happening to a lot of people. And I will say this. I have even heard of them refusing people's medicine and kicking them out the damn door, foaming at the mouth into the street so it can be someone else's problem. Harris County Jail, time is up. You will no longer refuse these inmates adequate medical treatment. You don't have any reasonable justification for doing that to this man. You made him suffer in pain from his arrival to the end of his life. And I would offer up to you that he died at that Harris County Jail. I don't care what anybody says, because he was pronounced dead at 7:32 a.m. on May the 16th. He had only been at LBJ's emergency room for 2 minutes. EMS worked on him from the time they saw him at the jail until he got to LBJ. So he clearly was dead. He just couldn't be pronounced, because what would you need CPR for if somebody is breathing? And then I will also offer up to you that he collapsed. All of a sudden, he went into a dizzy fright, began knocking things down. Inmates trying to help him. He's professing he's dying, and he collapses. He drops so hard, the back of his head busts wide open. It's blood everywhere. Inmates are calling for help. They can't get any help. Finally, they get him some help. Tell me, I don't know what he was doing or where he was at for an hour and a half, because EMS was not even called until an hour and a half after he collapsed. And I would offer up to you, with his head busted open in the way that it was, what are you going to do, perform surgery? Harris County Jail, Harris County Health System. Y'all have got to stop doing people like this. It's unfair. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be done. If you're a colored individual of black or brown descent, either you yourself or your mother, father, sister, or brother has diabetes, high blood pressure, or gout. These are all of the medications that they're being denied. And that I'm going to sit that right there. Guys, y'all are coming forward with information. Continue to come forward with information. Continue to contact me with information. I'm really tired of hearing the stories because it's really making me mad, but keep coming forward. Come forward with information on this case. If you were in the jail from the 13th through the 16th, let me know what's going on. If you're in jail right now and you were there, fly me a kite. Thank you.
I would just like y'all to know that we are laying Rico to rest finally Saturday. The family will be there for 11, but we're doing a balloon release at 12:30, so please come out and support him. This is hard, just hearing people actually are coming forward and to know that he was begging for his life. I don't know what this will do to us, if he can still be here. But at the end of the day, just come out and support. We have a GoFundMe to help us with all the costs of everything. You can find that on either one of my ladies' Facebook or Instagrams, wherever y'all follow them at. And we appreciate it. Thank you.
Who are you, ma'am? What's your name?
Sorry, I am Michelle Thomas. This is Gianni Thomas. He is the son of Rico Terry.
Plaintiffs in this lawsuit.
I just want those accountable to be brought to justice. That was my son. I love him. That's all I can say right now.
I just want to say, Houston, Texas, man, y'all let us down, bro. We really had love for this city, and we really cared about everybody in the city. My brother was just like everybody out here, just trying to make it through the poverty and trying to make it through the holes, bro. He had a chance, like everybody had a chance, but y'all ain't give him no chance. So we feel uneasy and we feel betrayed and we feel lied to. You know, we just upset and we just want some type of help. If you know anything, if you know anybody, please send all the help our way. Because we grieving right now. We sad and we are lost. Man, please, God.
And as I close, we stand in solidarity with this family. If you are watching, you have issues that has happened to you in Harris County Jail, reach out to us, because this is going to stop. Because one, how many more of our people have to die in Harris County Jail? How many more of our people can check in but can't check out? This is going to stop. And I say this again, we demand an investigation from the Department of Justice, because it's too many deaths that's happening back to back to back. That is a problem. It is a problem, because accountability breeds responsibility. And therefore, the DOJ, it is your responsibility to go in and investigate to stop this foolishness that is happening to our people in Harris County Jail. You have families like these people are broken. Just because you have people that's in Harris County Jail, it's more or less just like a holding place in order for them to have a day in court to determine if you're going to TDCJ or if you're going home or if you're going to the federal penitentiary, not for you to die. So I leave this in closing. Harris County, y'all better dig in them pockets, because I'm telling you, it's going to be more federal lawsuits that's about to drop. Harris County Jail, Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, you better tighten your people up in there. Y'all better get some training. Y'all better get more people. Hey, if you need more money at Commissioner's Court, you need to go get it, because that jail is not ran according to jail standards. It got to be up to code. You cannot deny people medication. You cannot be beating people up on the elevator because there's not a camera there. I'm telling you, these people come and tell us what's going on. Just because you been locked up on a charge on something. You charged. You haven't been convicted yet. You have a right as a U.S. citizen to have a day in court. And that's just what that is. I don't care if you're a child molester. I don't care if you, assault charge, kill somebody, whatever. You still have a day in court. You got rights in that jail, regardless. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm empathetic toward this situation because guess what? We all had people that came out of Harris County. I've walked that jail several times. Talked to inmates several times. So I'm telling you, they call us. So, are there any questions?
What is it that you're asking on the lawsuit? Get in the middle. Move to the middle.
We did request exemplary damages. The reason that we did this is because there was a reckless and conscious indifference to human rights. Also, refusing adequate medical treatment without the justification and the maliciousness involved in what occurred. In addition to that, the fact that so many people have died. We have 6 or 7 people that have died just this year alone, and we are only in the 6th month. So we have requested exemplary damages. Of course, we filed survival claims for him for his 8th Amendment rights, cruel and unusual punishment. And of course, there's a wrongful death suit. Because this young man, I want y'all to look at this young man. And the reason that I want you to look at this young man is because, guys, his dad will never bring him lunch at school. His dad will never be able to tell him it's going to be okay. His dad will not be able to teach him how to drive a car. He will never see his father again. He will never hear his voice again. Not in real time. And he deserves justice for his father. And I am very happy that he is so young and courageous to file this lawsuit on his father's behalf. Thank you. Any other questions?
What was the manner of that? Do you know that?
I can tell you this. When I spoke to personnel, it was an unusual amount of loss of blood coming out of the lower intestine. There was a lot of hemorrhaging on the inside. His head was cracked open, and his brain has been looked at. We're waiting on that to come back from the neuropathologist. So we don't know technically inside of the brain if there are any additional things. We do know that there were people. We do know that there are people in the jail that state that he requested diabetes medication, that he was on the pill, and that during this same time, there were other people that were requesting the exact same medication. And there was even a gentleman who was put out of the jail quickly, foaming at the mouth, which are some of the same things that my client experienced as well. So the cause of death at this time is unknown. But they have a lot of tests being run, and we know one thing for sure. There's clearly a denial of adequate medical treatment that is to blame.
Has the medical examiner ruled on this?
The medical examiner, because she is so perplexed by what she has seen, has ordered so much testing that none of it's back yet. And so we need that testing in order for her to finish out her duties.
Why go ahead and do the lawsuit right now and not after the medical examiner's ruling?
Because based on my investigation, he was denied medical treatment. It's cruel and unusual punishment. Guys, you have to be vocal. He was vocal. He was vocal. That's why. He was vocal. And I have noticed that on my lawsuits, when I'm able to file them and get things done, they're vocal. And because he was vocal, he was able to express what was going on with him, how he felt. We're able to know that he collapsed more than once. We're able to know the way that he was treated by staff. And then he's back in population. We know there's cruel and unusual punishment claim as well as other claims. So a manner of death is not a necessary element that I have to hit in these claims, and I have what I need to move forward in these claims, and that's why we brought the claims now. In addition to that, trying to wait and trying to give them a chance to do the right thing, I see is not going to happen, because until they got the blast that this was going to happen, and I did warn them, they refused to give me any information at all. Now, I will say Harris County Jail has been extremely tight-lipped. Harris County Sheriff's Office has been extremely tight-lipped.
How about the DA?
Extremely tight-lipped. And so that is how I feel. You're trying to hide. So I will just go ahead and I will file the lawsuit, and let's just get it started with the discovery. Because at the end of the day, if I calmly ask you, I nicely submit my PIAs, which are Public Information Act requests, and you play games with me, then I have a problem with that. And I know you may try to deny a few of my public information requests. I'm used to that. But let me tell you what I'm not used to. Glad you asked me. What I'm not used to is you all not wanting to give me an internal affairs investigation number. They never wanted to give me the number. And I would assume that it was because they didn't want the media or anyone else to have the number, because there are things that they have discovered. So I brought the lawsuit now, because waiting doesn't help. Sir, there are autopsies that are not back from the prior people who have filed that have died almost 2 years ago. If we wait and we wait and we wait, the statute is going to run. Forget it, we're coming now.
So how long was he in jail before this happened? How long before the incident?
He was in jail. He was booked on or about 11:14 a.m. on May the 13th. Okay? He was sick because here you can see that he missed court. Okay? You can see that he missed court on the 13th due to a medical condition. However, you guys can go look. All of you citizens can go look. Pull his name and go look. They shuffled him around enough to get his signature on documents, for him to have to, give his financial information and all of these things while he is ill. So it was the 13th, sir, the 14th, the 15th, and on the 16th, he died that morning.
What was his medical condition? What was it that he suffered before he went to jail, in jail?
He had different forms of mental illnesses where he required at least 4 pills a day to make it. In addition to that, he had diabetes, and that also required medication that he had to take. And this is not the first time that I've heard of this. You've heard of people jumping off of the 6th floor in Harris County and different things of that nature, because their mental health meds are denied. You've heard of, and it's crazy to me, because I almost feel like, Allie, you're dumb. Because it's so many clients that I've had that every time they're in jail, you have to hurry up and get them out, because they keep getting these retaliation cases. And they keep getting a case on top of a case, and every time you look at it, it's against medical personnel or it's against jail personnel. And every last one of them have mental health issues. So they're denying meds in there to people who need them, when they have all of the records that say that these people have mental health issues. They're not giving them their prescriptions and then punishing them for the way that they act out, when that's uncontrollable for them.
So he was there because he had a warrant for his arrest?
Yes, so he was at the jail because he did have a warrant for his arrest that stemmed from an altercation between himself and someone on or about maybe April the 24th of this year. And so he was arrested on an open warrant on May the 16th, and he was brought to the jail within an hour or so of being arrested on May the 16th.
And when did he start experiencing these medical issues?
From what I have been told, immediately. He complained about it immediately. As you go through processing, one of the things that you must do is they have to check you to make sure you're fit to come inside of the jail. It is my understanding that he was complaining then. He complained the entire time he was there, because he was never upright. He was always hunched over at the very beginning, but by the time that one of the witnesses arrived later on the same day, on the 13th, he said he got in maybe 5 or so. He said This gentleman was on the floor and he never got back up. The next witness never sees him up either. And the next witness picks up and starts to see him from the time of, I want to say the 14th, the 15th. So people saw him on the 13th, he was down. 14th, he was down. 15th, he was down. 16th, he was down.
Was he fully processed and was he given a bond or something?
He was given a bond, and he was given a $30,000 bond for the retaliation. And in fact, the district attorney wanted no bond for him. There were other requests for a personal recognizance bond, but he was given a $30,000 bond.
Did the family, was he able to even make a call to the family or anyone?
No
Was he?
call, nothing. Because he would have called and let us know
He was
he
there.
needed medication. He would have made sure
Or that he had
we
money
took
on his
care of it,
books,
because
anything. He
he's
would have
smarter
called
than
us.
that. It took somebody just refusing or just not caring enough just to just make sure he was okay. So that's how I know it's just crooked, because my brother's smart. He knows how to ask for help, try to make things work again, and they just wasn't trying to listen to him. They just try to treat him like he was a nobody. And he meant everything to us.
So that means that he was, as soon as he got there, he was sick. He was not able, because they're allowed to get a call, right?
They are allowed to get a call. And I asked two witnesses. I said, did you see him make any calls? Who would he have spoken to? Did you hear him making any calls? One of the witnesses said, I'm the one making calls, and you can hear him screaming and crying for help in the background. He said, my girlfriend was shocked. I was shocked. We're talking over his screams and over his wails. He says, and I'm telling them he needs help, and I'm telling the person on the other side of the phone that he needs help. And so if this is during pretrial, that's when this bond is being done. That's when all of this, when he's at pretrial, that's at the beginning of processing time. The other gentleman who had him from the time that he got in until pretrial time, he said that he was too sick to make a call. He said, because I asked him, I said, did you see him make a call? He said, ma'am, he was on the ground. He's throwing up. He's in throw up, ma'am. He's suffering. He can't get up. His head is pounding. He's complaining of his stomach. He said he could not have made a call because he couldn't have got to the phone. He couldn't get up off the floor. Because I specifically asked, because of course, I would want to know as the attorney what calls were made. None.
The family, did y'all know that he was there?
My mom let me know that.
I knew he was there because I started looking for him. He left my house on Thursday because he's been living with me for the last 6 months, and he left my house on Thursday and he didn't come home in the morning. So I told my boyfriend, where's Rico? He didn't come home, so he went to go to the neighborhood where he can hang out. And he said, yeah, they picked him up. That was Friday. He said Friday, or I'm not sure Friday or Saturday, but they picked him up. So I knew he was there. We never got a phone call though.
So if he would have been able to call you, y'all would have gone and got him.
And we would have rushed down there. We had to walk, run, fly a plane. We would have made sure we got what he needed. That's my brother. I'm 31. My brother 32. He's the same size as me.
He would have had a fight
So
chance.
for him to just pass out ridiculously dead like that on the ground, to me that's just, it's no way possible.
Negligence.
That's a wonder in the world to me. Because I know my brother will fight for his life. He'll put himself back together. But y'all had what he needed. Y'all didn't give it to him. Houston Police Department, Harris County, y'all failed my family. We broken forever. We forever gonna mourn my brother. It's horrible.
And I will say, and I didn't want to say this, but you know what? To be candid is best in this situation, because you all need to know the truth. He made a dying declaration. He made a dying declaration. He stood up and said, y'all are going to kill me. This is before the first time that he collapsed. He said, I knew that you expletives were going to expletive kill me. Why would you do this to me? You're going to expletive kill me. That was before the first time that he collapsed on the ground and they left him in his vomit for over an hour as he blacked out. So he knew what was coming and he professed it, and inmates heard it. Personnel also heard it.
Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, well, this concludes the press conference. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.